You guys got to check this out. Not very heavy. What could possibly be in here? Kind of looks like a mummy or something, right? It's better than a mummy. I guarantee you this is going to blow your mind. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the one that's on this IQR here, which is kind of like his last year's model. But this here is NextTech's newest suspension. Let's get it open. Now this I don't want to cut. Keep that knife nice and low here. I had to show you guys this. This came in for the Toronto show, but I didn't get it in time to show to everybody, so I have to do it now. You're not going to want to miss this. It's nice to see guys working on new product development, you know, making a system that is better than what the manufacturers put out. Because let's face it, you know, the manufacturers can only really do so much in the mass production kind of way of things. So. Now this is the prototype. Uh-oh, look at that. They're not into full production yet, but they will be soon. And that's all I need to hear. Oh boy. Oh my God. Like seriously, look at this thing. I thought his other model was insane and should have been on the space shuttle, but this is, they basically raised their own bar. Holy. Oh, hold on. Let me pop this off. I'll redo it. Anyway. Yep. I see what he's done. Oh, that's a cool idea. Synthetic rope. I've been looking at this and I'm slightly blown away, which I'm sure you are because you're looking at it as well. But if you look at this right here, you'll notice some movement. Well, check that out. This suspension is called the Nextech Mono SL Flex, which the SL stands for super light, which you can understand because, like, I mean, we're talking 29.5 pounds for a 62-inch skid, which kind of blows my mind. I didn't grimace when I did that, you know, so it has to be light. I've never held such a light suspension before, and I've dealt with a bunch of other different manufacturers and played with theirs. This is extremely light. Now, when somebody claims that it's light, I think we should go and test that theory out, test their claims out, and let's run her over to the scale there now. Beat up old scale. Let's zero that there. Now, I'm sure this is going to be within a pound or so. Let me see here. Oh, better raise that up a little bit. What are we looking at? So, I mean, it says about 29 pounds, right? Give or take. That's pretty darn incredible. I can't believe that. It's just mind-blowing. Now, just for comparison's sake, we grab this. This is out of the old Rev. Oh my God, I'm getting old. What is that? 61 pounds. And you want to know what? Honestly, most of the suspensions that come in sleds today aren't a whole lot lighter than this. If you're dealing with some of the mountain sleds, they're, they've got them down to about 50 pounds, 40 something pounds, but nothing compared to that. So why is this lighter than everything else? Well, it's made of carbon fiber. The rails are carbon fiber, the rear wheels are carbon fiber, all this superstructure, substructure, carbon fiber. Anything that's a fitting on here is actually made out of titanium. All the bearings are stainless steel, which means, you know what, they're not going to break down, they're not going to get all rusty on you. What's really cool about this whole setup is that, this carbon fiber doesn't hold on to snow the way aluminum does with all the fittings and everything. It's just going to keep shedding the snow. So not only do you have the advantage of having a very lightweight suspension, but you have a suspension that doesn't hold snow, which is going to actually make everything even a lot lighter. It's not uncommon when you're riding in the mountains or in the real fluff to bring on 20, 30 pounds of ice and snow. This really isn't going to do it from the way I look at it. And because it's got this high gloss finish on it, all the parts are titanium that won't corrode, stainless steel bearings, and this thing's going to look good for years to come. This will probably outlast your sled, so you'll be able to take it out, put it in your new sled, and move on from there. If you're not familiar with carbon fiber, it is actually stronger than aluminum. If you're thinking that you're going to bust this thing, you know what? You won't, unless you do something you really shouldn't, which is the same for aluminum, right? If you overstress it, it's going to give. Something's going to break. Something at some point does have to. But NextTech, I've talked to Kurt there. I've had good conversations with him. I believe him. He's an honest guy. And they've had no reports of any failure issues with any of these carbon fiber products, which is actually an amazing thing. But, they use these in the space shuttle program. They use them in aircraft. Aircraft propellers are made out of this carbon fiber. So it's a bit of a no-brainer. Why do all the manufacturers use aluminum over carbon fiber? And quite simply, it's the price. That's what it boils down to a lot of the time. When you're mass producing something, you want to get the cheapest thing you can, and aluminum is a lot cheaper than carbon fiber. Just imagine the work that goes into making all the molds for this. It's incredible. Kudos to them. Now you're going to see that this is flexing, and it actually flexes very easily. It's pretty incredible, actually. That's going to help you with your side hilling. It's going to work great, actually. Comes with this Fox Float 3 Evol shock, specifically designed for this suspension. And this is a monoshock suspension, of course. And what that means to you is, with the typical suspension that you're running right now, dual shock setup, kind of always fighting against each other. Those arms, when they're in motion under certain compression conditions, you're not going to get the same thing. This suspension keeps a constant track tension throughout its entire movement. Because of the suspension geometry and the way that it works, it always allows for a shallow approach angle onto the powder, and that's what you want. If you have a really steep approach angle with the front of your track, you're going to be busting through the snow and you're going to trench, and you don't want that. This isn't going to allow for that. When this moves, it always keeps a shallow approach angle. Keeps the skis down in the front. That's what you want, especially when you're climbing. I mean, it's fun to sort of do that all day, but that's not really what you want when you're playing in the deep, deep powder. You want to keep the skis down. You want the track on the snow pushing you forward. No need to shorten the limiter strap, so it's going to kind of actually handle like a shorty at all times. Now, every part of his carbon fiber suspension has been redesigned, made stronger, and actually made lighter, and you can see it in the design. I've got his other suspension on the IQR right now. We're going to swap out a little later on, and you can tell that a lot of thought has been put into this. So in true PowerModz fashion, I can't actually tell you that this is the best suspension ever made or that it works great, because I've never actually ridden it. So you're going to have to stay tuned to this winter when we actually bring it out and test it. We're going to do some field testing. We're going to test it on the whoops, climb some power lines, do some mountain climbing out west or out east with it. That's the next logical step, right? So make sure you stay tuned. I got to thank you for coming back, and I have to thank carbonsled.com for sending this beauty and showing it to us. It is definitely a piece of art. Thanks for watching. I'm not trying to prove how strong I am, okay? All right. I mean, how heavy could this be, right? Okay, here we go. Sweet. Oh yeah, no problem, I get that. Oh yeah, this is a good workout. I mean, when you want to work out, this is what you want to do. You want that old suspension. It's better for your Okay, I'm too old for this. That's going in Simon's sled.